What if I told you one small, invisible hormone surge could make you look years older? Sometimes it feels like overnight. You wake up, glance in the mirror, and there's a puffy face that wasn't there yesterday, a new stubborn crease, a bloated midsection, or that tired grayness in your skin. It's easy to blame creams, bad sleep, or a week of stress, but often the real culprit is a silent cortisol spike, a low-level, repeated elevation of cortisol that quietly accelerates inflammation, breaks down collagen, and chips away at cellular resilience. Today, I want to show you what that spike does, what actually triggers it in everyday life, and then walk you through 10 practical food-first strategies plus simple habits that blunt its impact. No miracle cures, just evidence-informed steps you can start this week. If this sounds like you, tap subscribe so you don't miss the full reset plan coming up. Cortisol is your body's stress hormone. It's supposed to rise and fall with situations, alert you in the morning, help you respond to an acute threat, then quiet down. The problem isn't a single burst, it's when the rhythm gets noisy. Picture cortisol like an alarm bell that should ring when needed and stay quiet the rest of the day. A silent cortisol spike is when the bell keeps whisper ringing, small elevations that aren't dramatic but are persistent. Over time, those whispers add up. Biologically, chronic low-level cortisol increases are linked with higher systemic inflammation, more oxidative stress, accelerated mitochondrial wear, impaired collagen synthesis, and even shorter telomeres, the little caps on our chromosomes that shorten as cells age. In plain English, persistent cortisol noise can make your skin thinner, slower to repair, more prone to fat storage around the belly, and your cells less efficient at producing energy. Women's hormonal rhythms may make these fluctuations more likely to show up as skin and metabolic changes, but that's a sensitivity, not a destiny. You don't need fancy lab tests to suspect this is happening. Look for everyday signs: waking with puffiness that doesn't respond to water or salt changes, a new layer of tiredness that sleep doesn't fix, midline weight gain despite unchanged calories, midday brain fog or sudden cravings for sweets, hair feeling dull, more breakouts or slow healing skin, mood swings that follow a pattern of late afternoon dips. And think about triggers in your daily life: a couple of late-night emails, frequent fast carb snacks, a coffee run late in the day, irregular sleep, or even chronic low-level worry. Gut trouble also counts. When your microbiome is off, signals from your gut to your brain can amplify HPA axis noise and nudge cortisol upward. This is not about blame. It's about spotting patterns so you can steer them. Now for the practical part: 10 food-focused, science-informed allies that help blunt cortisol's damage and support the cellular systems that aging steals from, plus how to use them. Each one is paired with a quick mechanism, a cautious study hint, a realistic serving tip, and one safety note. Blueberries. These little blue warriors are rich in anthocyanins, plant pigments that lower oxidative stress and calm inflammatory signaling in the brain and body. Studies suggest diets high in anthocyanins are associated with better memory and reduced markers of inflammation in trials. Practical move: aim for about a cup a day, fresh or frozen, tossed in yogurt, oatmeal, or a smoothie. Caveat: if you're on blood-thinning medication, a dietitian can advise on any interaction with concentrated berry extracts. The whole fruit is generally safe. Extra virgin olive oil. Think of it as a daily drizzle of resilience. Olive oil's polyphenols help reduce systemic inflammation and support vascular health, which matters because inflamed blood vessels amplify cellular stress responses. Observational studies link Mediterranean-style polyphenol intake with lower markers of aging-related inflammation. Practical move: use a tablespoon or two daily raw, on salads, over roasted veggies, or in a morning drizzle on avocado toast. Caveat: choose a high-quality EVO and store it dark and cool. Heat degrades some beneficial compounds. Green tea ECG. The catechin ECG supports cellular repair pathways, helps reduce oxidative damage, and has been associated with protecting telomere length and mood stability in some trials. It's not a magic bullet for cortisol, but 2 cups a day of brewed green tea is a gentle, evidence-friendly habit that supports stress resilience. Practical move? Replace a mid-morning or afternoon latte with matcha or brewed green tea. 1 to 2 cups daily is reasonable. Caveat: green tea contains caffeine. Avoid late afternoon if it disturbs your sleep. Wild-caught salmon. Omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidant carotenoids like astaxanthin help membranes stay flexible, reduce inflammatory cytokines, and support mitochondrial function, the cellular powerhouses that cortisol-related stress can degrade. Clinical trials show omega-3s are linked to lower inflammatory markers and mood benefits. Practical move? Aim for 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish per week. Caveat: choose low-mercury sources and consult a clinician if pregnant or breastfeeding about frequency. Avocado. The healthy monounsaturated fats in avocado support hormone production, nourish skin via vitamin E, and help stabilize blood sugar, which reduces the spikes in cortisol that come after rapid sugar swings. Practical move? Add half an avocado to a meal several times a week, in salads, blended into dressings, or on toast. Caveat: calories add up. If you're managing weight, portion accordingly. Dark chocolate, 70% plus cacao. Dark chocolate provides flavonols that can improve circulation and offer a mild hormetic stress, tiny beneficial challenges that can build resilience in cells. Some trials show improved mood and cognitive markers with daily small servings of high cacao chocolate. Practical move? 10 to 20 grams a day, a square or 2, savor it slowly as a stress-buffering ritual. Caveat: avoid high sugar varieties and watch portions if you have insulin resistance. Pomegranate. Pomegranates contain precursors that gut bacteria convert into urolithin A, a compound shown in trials to stimulate mitophagy, the cleanup of damaged mitochondria, which is critical when cortisol-related oxidative stress accumulates. Practical move? Include pomegranate arils a few times a week, or a small daily glass of 100% pomegranate juice diluted with water. Caveat: juice concentrates sugar. Favor whole seeds when possible, and check with your clinician if you're managing blood sugar. Broccoli sprouts, sulforaphane. These sprouts are a concentrated source of sulforaphane, a molecule that activates NRF2, the cell's internal detox switch, enhancing antioxidant defenses and reducing oxidative burden caused by chronic stress. Clinical research links sulforaphane-rich foods with lower markers of inflammatory stress in short trials. Practical move? Add a small handful of broccoli sprouts to sandwiches, salads, or smoothies several times a week. Caveat: people on thyroid medication should discuss cruciferous intake with their provider if consuming very large amounts. Turmeric, curcumin plus piperine. Curcumin downregulates NF-κB, a key inflammatory pathway that cortisol can amplify, and some trials link curcumin with improved mood markers and reduced inflammatory signals. Practical move: incorporate turmeric into cooking, soups, or a nightly golden milk with a pinch of black pepper, piperine, to boost absorption. Caveat: high therapeutic doses may interact with blood thinners or certain medications. Check with a clinician before concentrated supplements, especially during pregnancy or breastfeeding. Fermented foods. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and other fermented items feed a balanced microbiome, which in turn calms gut-brain signaling tied to HPA axis overactivity. Studies show probiotic-rich diets can reduce inflammatory biomarkers like IL-6 and support stress resilience. Practical move? Include a modest serving of fermented food daily. A few tablespoons of sauerkraut, a half cup of kefir, or a small bowl of plain yogurt. Caveat: if you have histamine sensitivity or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, discuss with a clinician before ramping up fermented foods. A note on targeted compounds. Urolithin A, EGCG, sulforaphane, curcumin, omega-3s, and certain probiotics show promise in trials for mitochondrial support, inflammation reduction, and cellular resilience. In food form, these compounds come packaged with fiber, nutrients, and fewer risks. If you consider concentrated supplements, use clinical guidance and avoid megadoses without oversight. Between those food anchors, lifestyle moves are the scaffolding that make food changes work. First, stabilize blood sugar. Pair carbs with protein and fiber to avoid roller coaster glucose peaks that trigger cortisol. Think of a breakfast of Greek yogurt, blueberries, and a sprinkle of nuts rather than a sugary pastry. Second, prioritize sleep with a consistent bedtime and a wind-down ritual. Even 2 weeks of improved sleep timing can reduce evening cortisol elevation in many people. Third, practice a simple breathing technique for acute dips in cortisol, box breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Do this 1 to 3 times when you feel a spike. It's like noise-canceling headphones for your nervous system. Fourth, move daily, but avoid exhausting high-intensity sessions late in the evening. Gentle morning movement or a brisk walk after lunch helps glucose handling and reduces stress. Finally, limit late caffeine and high sugar snacks that prime late-day spikes in cortisol and disturb sleep. If you want a compact starter plan to actually begin canceling those silent cortisol whispers, here's a simple 7-day reset you can follow. Each morning, brew 1 cup of green tea, have a protein-rich breakfast with fiber, example 2 eggs or a scoop of Greek yogurt, and a cup of blueberries. Do 3 minutes of box breathing before you check your phone. Midday, choose a salmon or avocado-based salad tossed with extra virgin olive oil. Take a 15 to 20-minute walk after lunch. Afternoon, replace sugary snacks with a small square of 70% dark chocolate and a handful of nuts. Evening, include a fermented side with dinner, a spoonful of plain yogurt or sauerkraut, add broccoli sprouts or roasted broccoli a few times this week, and end the day with a turmeric latte or warm water with a sprinkle of turmeric and black pepper. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep, consistent bedtime within a 60-minute window, and avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. Repeat those core items for 7 days, and you'll likely notice energy and mood shifts. Cellular markers like inflammation and mitochondrial function often start showing improvement after a few weeks in clinical studies, though visible changes in skin and weight are gradual and depend on many factors. Let's be realistic about timelines. Cortisol-related damage is cumulative. Some markers respond within weeks, reduced inflammatory cytokines, better nightly cortisol rhythms, while skin collagen and body composition take longer to rebuild. Think in tiers: immediate wins, better sleep, less puffiness, more steady energy, early biologic shifts, lower inflammation within weeks, and slower structural improvements, skin density, telomere-related changes that come with consistent months of practice. The point is progress compounds. Small daily acts are the difference between steady support and ongoing wear and tear. A few safety and realism checkpoints. If you have a diagnosed endocrine disorder, are on hormone therapy, anticoagulants, or other medications, or you're pregnant or breastfeeding, talk to your healthcare provider before changing supplement routines or dramatically increasing certain foods. Don't stop prescribed medications. Use clinical guidance for lab interpretation or targeted supplements like concentrated curcumin, high-dose omega-3s, or urolithin A. And remember, not all women will respond the same way. Genetics, sleep history, medication, and life stressors shape how your body reacts. That doesn't negate what you can control. It just means personalization matters. To sum up, the silent cortisol spike isn't a dramatic villain you can swat in one night. It's more like background interference that slowly distorts the image of your health. The good news is that you can lower the frequency and amplitude of those spikes with everyday countermeasures. Foods that reduce oxidative stress and support mitochondria, blueberries, salmon, pomegranate. Nutrients that activate cellular defense pathways, sulforaphane in sprouts, curcumin. habits that stabilize blood sugar and sleep, and simple breathing tools to interrupt acute surges. These are small, repeatable rituals: a cup a day of green tea, a tablespoon of olive oil, a square of dark chocolate, a nightly turmeric hug that, when kept up, make a measurable difference in inflammation and cellular resilience. If you want the exact 7-day checklist I outlined, the morning, afternoon, and evening actions laid out in a printable format, download the free 7-day cortisol reset checklist linked below to help you start today. No gimmicks, just a practical roadmap to make those quiet cortisol spikes quieter. You don't have to accept accelerated aging as inevitable. With small, evidence-informed habits and a little consistency, you can shield your cells, protect your collagen, and give your mitochondria a fighting chance. Start with one change this week, maybe the blueberries or the green tea, and build from there. I'll see you in the next video where we unpack a deeper 30-day reset if you're ready to go further.